A good offer is more than price. Small details can win you the home or save you money. Let's build this in the right way. By the end of this video, you would have 4 things that you're going to be taking away from here. You will be able to come up with your true walkaway number so you do not overpay on that property. You will also be able to build a clean offer, price, deposit, closing date, right conditions. You will also be able to determine if you are in the bidding war or a slow market, and then leave with simple lines you can use when negotiating. My name is Kemi Raji, your Windsor insider and a real estate agent here, 7 people in Windsor. And I support first-time home buyer to buy right, so that way you do not have to stress yourself. So what's inside an offer? I'm going to keep it simple. Here are the main parts. 1, the price, the number that you are offering. The deposit, that's a good faith money. In Ontario, it's usually due within 24 hours after acceptance or after the offer is stated. The bigger and faster looks stronger. The closing date. When you get the keys, matching the date with the sellers can help you. And then we have the conditions. Those are the safety checks. So you're putting the finance to finish, your mortgage, your home inspection, and if you're buying a condo, the status certificate. And then you need to think about your insurance. Can you insure this home? And then in that offer is also the inclusion and the exclusion. What stays, what goes. Are there rental properties? For instance, in Windsor, we have the hot water and sometimes the furnace and the air conditioner. And then you have the irrevocable time. How long is your offer open to? And then if you buying a property which is tenanted, will there be a vacant possession? So we must handle this correctly so that way you know what you're getting yourself into. Those are the things that goes in the offer. The price, the irrevocability, the conditions, the deposits, and a lot of things that your agent will walk you through. So that way you are positioning yourself in the best place to get the home that you like. So what happens when that offer has been put together? You're going to find yourself perhaps in 2 situations. 1, there are many offers, which means there is a lot of competition. Sometimes people call this bidding wars. And then the second one is that you are the only one that put in an offer. So there is no competition. Maybe in a slow market, that can happen. So if you find yourself in a very competitive state where you have many offers, what you want to do is to stand out without taking silly risks. What do you have to do? What do you have to put in place? You would ask. The price. You need to use the high end of your range if the home is worth it. What do I mean by this? You always have a deal or no deal kind of situation with yourself or whoever you're buying with. So you need to have at the back of your mind a walkaway price. So in this instance, you might have, this is what we would offer, and this is how much we can go up to. So if you like the house and it is worth the amount, I will suggest put in your high end in. So if the house is listed for $500,000 and your high end amount is $560,000, you might want to put that down instead of trying to lowball the seller. That's what I meant. And the second thing that you need to consider is the deposit. Make sure you have a strong deposit. The larger the deposit, the stronger your offer would be. Conditions. Keep the conditions to necessary ones. I have seen some offers whereby they would make put some unnecessary conditions in it. And I understand the buyer, you want to protect yourself. But sometimes these conditions make it a lot harder. There are 3 conditions which are a must that you must put. 1, the finance condition. 2, the inspection condition, which is your home inspection. And 3, that you are going to pay the rest of the money when you do a set. And maybe you might want to add that you have options to go into the property 3 times before the closing date. Any other conditions you can add, but don't make it a deal breaker. So make the conditions and keep the timeline reasonable. If you are bringing unreasonable timeline, the seller is going to kind of like just walk away. Closing dates. Match the closing date with the seller's closing date if you can. And like I said, avoid extra personal and things like that and keep it professional. If you lose, it wasn't your house and you do it again, but in a calming manner. So what I say to my client in this situation when they are in a competitive offer situation is that your number is this. We would not go beyond this amount, and we are going to match the seller's closing date. So that way, especially when you know that the seller maybe they want to move or something like that, they are more determined about that particular closing date. They might be able to give you some leeway, but try to match their seller, the closing date. I would go back to these seller's agents and I would say this to them: we are serious. I have a serious buyer. The deposit is ready. We are pre-approved, and my client, the buyer, can meet the seller's closing date. And here is our offer. So the timeline is short and clean. So that way you have positioned yourself better. What happens if you find yourself in a slow market, or perhaps there's only one offer competing with you? Again, the price, you start fair, but not too high, not too low. We use the data. So we use a comparative. Those are the houses that have sold in that neighborhood in the last 30 days or so. We use that so that we can position that offer better. Conditions, again, we keep it to finance, inspection. We can ask for some other things. However, we don't make it a deal breaker. When inspection comes along, there might be need for repairs and things like that. So that could be part of renegotiation. Or we can make some requests as well. If the house has been sitting on the market for some time, that is to your own advantage as a buyer. So you can ask for touch-ups, you can ask for small repairs, you can have a more flexible closing dates and everything that would help you. So basically, as a buyer, you have the upper end. So I say to my clients in this situation, be patient. Silence and time can help you out here. So what are the special situations that you might find yourself? If you're buying a condo, always have a status certificate condition. If a property is tenanted, make sure to talk to your lawyer about early vacant possession timeline. So this way, you don't find yourself at the closing date that the property is not vacant. I have seen some situations whereby the tenant has been given N10 to move out, they've agreed and everything, and it came to the closing date and they did not move out of the property, leaving the buyer without a house to move into, but still paying the mortgage. You don't want to find yourself in this situation. So if you're buying a property which is tenanted, make sure that you ask your agent to put in a clause that if at closing the house is not vacant, you will pull out of it. Now you know what goes into an offer and what you can negotiate for. Make sure you do this wisely, so that way you're not paying too much or you're not lowballing the seller, which might be very upsetting for them. At the end of the day, you want to pay what you think is valuable or what you think the house is worth. But at the same time, you don't want to feel like you're not serious about buying. Like I always say, make sure you get pre-approved. If you don't have a pre-approval from your lender, then seller would not take you seriously. So part of how you can make your offer stronger is having a pre-approval letter from your lender. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, comment below, share it. It helps the algorithm and it helps me to make more videos like this. If you are looking for information about buying or selling in Windsor-Essex County, feel free to reach out to me. And that way we can talk about what your options are in Windsor. Thank you.